Mission overview. Allies flight. Weather. Fly. Hello everyone, this is Loco S, and welcome to DCS World, where I'm doing a first impressions video in the game of the F-4E Phantom and the Kola map. Last video I did was a first impressions video from the perspective of a mission editor, and to put a very quick summary on what I thought about the two things from a mission editor perspective, Kola map has potential, has promise, kind of a little bit underdeveloped in certain areas, but what's there is definitely promising and interesting. Just be prepared to have long flight times for the moment. On the other hand, for the Phantom, lots of cool weapons, lots of cool features, but be prepared to know the Phantom's peculiarities inside and out, because there's a lot of things that you can easily set up the wrong thing on, and your players will have no idea what's going on with their Phantom, unless they were to land and then edit things from a loadout perspective. But here we go with the actual F-4E Phantom in-game. Let's hit fly. And doing a quick tour of the cockpit from the inside. Heat blur has done it yet again. This is very, very much reminiscent of the Tomcat's cockpit, although done better. It's not like the Tomcat is that far behind the F-4E Phantom. I think what they did here better than in the Tomcat is they made it look weathered, but they actually made all of the scribing and text way more legible. So you'll actually be able to read all these switches at a glance, and not just have to know it or mouse over it and then get the DCS beige text box telling you what it exactly is. So there is that. Actually, out of curiosity, is this openable? No. Sometimes, like for instance, the F5 in the F5E, you can open this up and use it for some modules. You can open this up and it'll bring up your keyboard. Actually, on that note, all right. Oh, so if you bring up your keyboard, it actually has a turn points listed out here. So these are your turn points and flight plan for your Phantom. This is all your preset auxiliary and comm radio frequencies that are preset in the mission editor. Also note that the radio is only a UHF AM radio, so do keep that in mind. Checklists. Profiles. Pretty neat. Combat radius bingo. Oh, now that's nice. This is basically how much fuel and how far you can go. Different notes about different weapons. Oh, and there's even just notes about like general dogfighting in here. That's nice. Oh, so Rapucha class has an A. Okay, that's good to know. And then now we're getting into the actual, these field, these are actually the DME field, these are the airfield charts. Nice. Okay, let's get back to the start. There's your DCS standard maps right there. Perfect. Lots of really cool knee boards for the Phantom, because they've definitely taken it from community inspirations, because a lot of the community mods out there, not a lot, but a good number of community mods are for custom knee boards to bring out information like that. So that's pretty cool. Again, really nicely detailed. It's weathered, but not overly done where you can't read anything. Something I wish they would go back on the Tomcat and just clean it up a little bit with the text. Nice. Can't wait to see this at night. Once I do my first night missions on this. You can have the helmet. You can equip it and disequip and unequip it. Boarding ladder. Now let's head back to a pit that hasn't really been covered a whole lot. This is the Wizzo pit. Again, really nicely detailed cockpit. Definitely zero visibility up the front, but as the Wizzo, you're going to be mostly focused on navigating, managing all the systems. Although you can definitely assist the pilot with keeping an eye on the ILS for ILS landings, and managing just systems to keep him focused on flying. Also to note, because this is an Air Force aircraft, there are duplicate controls for the back for the Wizzo, but I do notice that the engine looks like they linked the right and left engines here for the Wizzo, so he can't like split the throttles. He has to manage both throttles at the same time. Unless there's some weird splitting mechanism that I'm not seeing. No, they're separate throttles, actually. They're separate throttles. Never mind. It's just, it doesn't look that way from here. From up here, it looks like it's just a single metal piece that looks like it's welded right there. Okay, that's actually good. The Wizzo does have a separate split throttle. It's just not super obvious from certain angles. Perfect. All right, let's get back to the pilot seat. Gesture menu and just general crew, chief, and the like menu is done through A, like on the gesture menu back on the Tomcat. Let's see here. Crew contact. So that so crew contact is going to get I'm going to talk to Jester, which is why there's Jester there. So this is crew chief, who's going to be the ground crew. So let's see here. External power, connect. Air source, connect to right engine. Boarding ladder and steps. Steps, retract. Ladder, remove. Let's just put on, or before we put on our helmet, you can look here. So we did tell them to connect to the right engine. The hose will connect whenever we start applying air pressure. So we don't have to worry about that. Now, as you can see, the F-4E has these safety panels or safety covers over the engine intakes and different parts of the aircraft. It has also the engine covers in the back. Once we put on the helmet, those will be removed. So we'll do that. Put on the helmet. And then I'm going to actually have a bit of a aha moment. Tell the crew chief to connect the air source to right engine. Still hasn't yet, which is okay. Oh, there he goes. Aha. That was the aha moment. Because with the helmet on, the engine covers are attached. The crew chief isn't going to attach an external air source to an engine that is effectively sealed off. That's probably a very, very bad idea. So you have to put the helmet on to remove the covers to get it to attach a ground air supply. But with the helmet off, you can't attach ground power. Heapler, you impress me every time. Alright. Let's start these engines up. Start airflow. Alright, master switch for the right engine. On. External airflow is also on. And we're waiting for RPMs to get above 10. And they are. Now this is where I have to double check my key bindings because I haven't done any of the key bindings. Just controls. And I'm going to assume usually it's right shift H for your right engine start. oh, right control and home. So right control and home is for your right engine. I'm going to say right alt and home is probably for your left engine. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, right alt and home. Perfect. So now you have to hold down the engine igniter, and then push the throttle into 50%, and then back down to idle. So there's also the detent. So I'm gonna hold. So I have a keyboard because I really don't have a fancy HOTAS to pull this off the proper way, quote unquote. But here we go. Engine igniter engaged. Right detent. Push it up to 50. Hold on. So the engine is increasing. And stable. And then once we got the light off, we let off the engine igniter button. Okay. Let's see here. We're going to go to air source, connect to the left engine.
Roger.
Yep.
Connected left.
Connected to the left engine. And then I want to see something here. Adjust controls. Access commands. I'll be a monkey's uncle. It didn't bind any of my HOTAS commands. Automatically. That is weird. That is weird. So there are separate left and right throttle buttons to move. And we can do throttle. Okay? Alright. I am going to try something. Okay, when I hit OK, I want to see what it does with the throttle. And I might have to adjust this. Okay, nope, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Okay. Now, let's see here for my stick. Crew chief. Okay, so pull back on the stick, push forward on the stick, left, right, right rudder, left rudder. Bingo! Okay, that's all set up. Bit weird that it didn't do that automatically, but okay. Because I'm making a video. I mean, I love the sound of that engine, not gonna lie, but make it a little bit quiet in here for everyone. So, left engine is gonna start up now. Connect to left engine, has been done. Start airflow.
Canopy down and locked, lights out,
Yeah,
and stripes
done.
aligned.
So we're gonna let it. While it's climbing up to 10, I did realize we need to get our generators up. and running. Tack in to transmit receive. I did forget to turn on the engine.
Are you ready for alignment?
Yes. Yeah.
Rudder. Which alignment do you want?
Alignment type. We're gonna go for a just a heading this time.
Okay, stored heading, aligning.
All right, time to start the left engine while he's doing that. Left alt and well, first off we have to go over here. Left alt and home. Hold that down. Get it out of the detent, and then up, and then snap back down. Oh, left master engine switch on. Left alt, no, right alt and home. Bring it up to idle. Power it up, and then back down. Engine climbing, engine climbing. And then once we got light off, and then pull the innators off. There we go. And then we can go to left generator on as well. So we got both left and right generator on. Pitch augmentation off. We can go ahead and engage stability augmentation. DCS engaged. That's altitude holds. Steps are up. Let's see here. Cold mic, hot mic. Aura control. So for our sidewinders, we don't need that. Anti-skid and operative. We'll turn on anti-skid. Oxygen supply on, normal oxygen. Master caution. There's no button to clear master caution. That's interesting. Gun. Don't need that. So there is actually, by the way, for our AGM-12s, an AGM-12 selector knob here for weapon select. Just a nuclear weapon. I like how that's very much a button that has its own thing. It's very much early Cold War tech right there. There's direct, which we're going to need for our
Prime sync clear, go ahead. Ready to taxi.
Let's see here, pitot heat off, static comm off. Go through my checklist one last time. Oh, we can also then stop airflow. So we can then, actually disconnect. There we go.
Rudder.
Disconnect that. Disconnect that.
Stand by. Air is disconnected.
And Jubila, I believe. That's pretty much everything that we need to actually start flying. Get the engines going. Double check everything all the other panels. Station selection, we're good there. IFF, turn that on. That's our radio panel right there. We're good there. Set cooling. Standby. Switch to primary. Let's see here. Nose and tail, although I don't think that does anything for bullpups. Let's see here. I think that is everything. Check boost pumps. Your refueling switch. Standard track. Yeah, I think we're pretty much ready to go, like Jester said. Not quite sure what that static core off. DCU mode. Set compass heading. Oh. Sync the compass. And now we're good to go. Alright, let's get on the, that's the first taxi. Should also, probably before I start off, nose wheel steer gearing, trim nose down, trim nose up. There's our nose wheel steer trimming. There's our nose wheel steer. Let's see here. Trigger. That. And then bomb button, bomb release is that for me. Alright, that covers all the major things, all the main things we need to do. And before we taxi, up 2 to 3 degrees trim. There we go. And I want to check something on the exterior. Oh, wheel chocks.
Roger. Stand by. Yes, sir. External power is disconnected. Roger. Yes, sir. Chalk's out.
All right. There we go. Oh, that's cool. Then as soon as you start moving, the cart goes away. All right, there we go. This was taxiing. Oh, this is gonna be fun to taxi. Okay, there we go. So 23 minutes in, and we just started taxiing and taking off. All right, that was pretty cool to go through. That was my first startup. I did have the checklist off to the side as a bit of a reference, just to double check some things.
Roger that.
Yeah, we're not going low on this mission. We're going to be ideally trying to stay high. Phantom does seem to like to travel on its own power with idle power. So once you get it going, you can just keep it in idle and it won't get too fast on you, but it'll keep moving regardless. There's some F-4Es that I placed out there. We'll say this is a beautiful air base to take off from. I'm going to actually line up a bit more with the middle of the runway and brake a little bit. Now, granted, some of the textures around here do need work. This is clearly the low detail area, but just looking out there into like the off into the distance, I can definitely see the potential of dogfighting in the Norwegian fjords, and just doing strikes in the Norwegian fjords, and just how beautiful this is going to be. It's also cool to see all like the small islands out there. Well, this is going to definitely be one of my favorite maps to play around in. Okay, stop, turn. Ooh, we can just, so you can turn this pretty aggressively, which is nice. Hold on. Jester UI middle select. And pretty much every other module, this is wheel brake. Okay then, what's wheel brake? D. Okay. D it is. Alright, we're not going to ask for takeoff clearance or anything funny like that. We're just going to take the runway and just go for it. D. Yeah, I know, you didn't like that on the brakes, yeah. I know. But it's weird, because even at, like, idle power, this is still... The Phantom still wants to actually go, in most instances. Which is probably why we want to take the wheel shocks off at the last minute. Alright, there we go. Right, there we go, we are lined up, so... Idle. There we go. And then once you're stopped, it'll just stay put, so at least there's that. Alright. Flaps are... I'm going to see if there's an actual flap lever down here. There it is. Slat and flaps are down, and then I get with the F key, and then also I guess if you do shift, it'll bring them up. So let's put them back down. And there we go. And while we're at it, I'll take a screenshot later. I'll take a screenshot when it lands, but okay, here we go. I'll look into that strike picture camera. That sounds interesting. But anyways, here we go. Slats and flats are out. Hold brake. Power up to 80%, and then up to mill power. We're just going to do a mill power takeoff because we're not super heavily loaded.
You're way too fast. Man, the CEO will bust our balls for that.
Oh, that's because Cheshire doesn't think that's the runway. This is the actual runway. Whatever.
100 knots.
Go, start putting a bit of back pressure. A little more power.
Engine's good. Airspeed's coming alive.
Okay, there we go. And push, trim down, gear up.
Gears moving.
And then wheels, and then flaps and slats are up.
Gear up.
Nose down. Nose down. There we go. Alright, so she's a little bit of a handful to take off. Oh! I think that's because I put nose up trim. The Phantom is weird. You need to put nose down trim. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing to get used to. But regardless, I think she can handle herself at 90% RPM. So there we go. Set at 90% RPM. She does seem to handle pretty well. Bring a bit of yaw in this turn. She usually handled it pretty nicely. Forward visibility is a bit constrained, but it's not horrendously bad. In fact, if I zoom out, if I do this, I get a pretty decent bit of forward visibility. It's not the greatest in the world, but there are worse. Kola map from this high up. We're going to buzz the town a little bit. In fact, we're going to pull power a little bit, and then pull will be a nice tight turn. Do say I like the structure so far that I'm seeing in the map. They seem to be quite a bit different. Quite a bit different than what we normally have seen. And also really unique. Obviously, this is a new part of the world map. We're going to have different structures, but it's really cool how it seems like there's a lot of different types of houses. It's a bit more colorful. Again, it's part of the area probably, but it looks really, really nice. And then I'm going to roll over to the left. And then shift my camera to the left. Look at, there's the air base right there. Nose down. So that beeping is basically the AOA indicator. So I'm going to apply a little more power and nose down the trim as I look out to see the town right there. Looks like there's a shopping mall, a sports stadium, some short towers, there's a little commercial district, and a port, which is pretty cool. But let's get back to our main front view. All right. There we go. Keep on nose trimming down. All right, let's talk to Jester. And then weapons.
Roger.
So, for our bull pups, we are going to try direct EGM-12. Let's arm our it's too bad I can't put my hand right in front of it. Let's arm the left station first. Master arm engaged. AGM-12 direct. We're going to go at air-to-ground sights. Reticle is at 0, which is about right. Now let's see if we can't find that Rapucha class ship. That's an island. I think when we set it up in the mission editor.
Shit, we've been hit!
Oh crap, we have been hit. Okay, here we go. It actually was below us. That's why we couldn't see it.
Turn point is in.
Alright. Alright, she doesn't like this, what she's doing right now. Come on. I want to see what damage I've taken from the outside view. Oh, we lost a stabilizer. That's why. So, holy crap, this damage model is pretty... So, holy crap, this damage model is pretty good. Oh, oh crap. We're going. We're going. So, Jester was able to eject, and I didn't because I forgot to remove the safety pins. Whoops. Yeah, I forgot the Rapucha. These two guns on the guns on the Rapucha are actually pretty effective against air targets. All right, I'm gonna have to give this a try. I'm gonna do an air start, and I'm gonna see what else I can do to target this ship. See you all when I get back. Alright everyone, welcome back. So, changed some settings, I did an air start. Hopefully this time we're actually going to be able to shoot some weapons off. I want to try to use the AGM-12s. And then fly around a little bit more of the map. So we're going to go to AGM-12 usage, it's direct, AGM-12. And then you want to select one of the pylons, so this time we're going to select Master Arm for as well. So Master Arm, pylons with the AGM-12 selected.
Steering updated to next turn point.
AGM-12 selected for weapon select, and then direct. Now we just have to find the ship, and I'm going to go and sort of cheat and use F10. And we are literally, once again, overflying it. That is the one thing. The F-4E does have pretty crap visibility below the cockpit line. But there is the Rapucha right there. And she's relatively close. So we're going to go ahead, throttle down, because we're going to enter a bit of a dive, and we don't want to overspeed. Also, I've noticed that it does not, in any way, shape, or form, like being below like 250 knots. So keep the engine RPM pretty high up, even when you're in a bit of a dive. But if you start entering a steep dive and you want to cut the engine RPM back, because then it'll just throttle towards the ground pretty aggressively. So keeping our speed up, we're gonna get back up to 300 knots. And then once we place the Pipper over the target and get pretty close to it, we're going to use bomb release and hopefully get a bullpup off on this Rapucha class. Now, if the bullpup seems familiar in operation, because it's a radar and it's a radar command and missile, that's because we already have one in game. It's for the Viggen, which is very fitting then that Heapler does it again now for the Phantom. Here we go. Bullpup out. There we go. Up. Bullpup out. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten out because we you have to reselect another station. So there's our right outboard selected. We're going to gain some distance. Shoot it from a bit further out. Also gain some altitude. And you did see when the bullpup fired off. The bullpup fired off and had a flare behind it. And that flare is how you actually visually ID the bullpup once it gets a bit further out. And then you guide basically the flare onto the target. So let's see here. Alright, there we go. Get the Rapucha in our sights. Put the Pipper on the ship. Looks to be our target. And fire. Okay, now use the radar, use the hand control to guide it onto the target. Okay. It seems to want to go down, so we want to aim above the ship, which is what we'll do with our next shot. But as I was using the hand controls, which are the backslash, like the slash key, the apostrophe, the period key, and all that, like those set of keys down on the lower right of the keyboard, control the hand control from the pilot's perspective, which allows it to control the bullpup. So I think we're far enough away to get our run in. So there we go. Cut power just slightly, and then raise it again once we get a little bit below roughly 300. There's our ship target. Okay. There we go. We're wings level. We're above the putting the Pipper above the Rapucha, and here we go. Pull up. I'm gonna see something. Yeah, those are the AGM-12s.
Copy.
I wonder if it got mad at me because I'm equipping two different types of AGM-12 on here. Regardless, let's see if we can do something with the gun. I'll do a strafing run against the ship, and then we're going to jettison. In fact, since those two missiles aren't working, we're going to jettison. Now we're on a clean Phantom. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's definitely a very lower pointing gun, so. There we go, got good hits on target. There we go. We couldn't get the missiles to hit, but we can at least get the gun on the target. See if that 20mm AP did any damage to the Rapusha. A little bit. Which is fine. Alright, let's see here. Fuel, by the way, not too bad. 9,000 pounds, roughly. Alright, we can disarm the gun. Turn off all the weapon selections. Let's go ahead and put this bird in the land. It will fly a little bit over here in the fjord section. Get an idea of what the fjords look like flying through them, and then we'll land at Bolo. But let's first burn some fuel, so we're all nice and light for a landing. Terrain doesn't look too bad. It's definitely going to use It definitely needs improvement, and it definitely needs worked on to get up to snuff. But so far, not too bad. Not too bad down low so far. Bolo is somewhere out that way. So before we land at Bolo, I want to burn a bit more fuel to get us nice and light. Go. As fast as we can. And level flight, and I want to see how fast we can zoom climb. Okay. How far we can zoom climb up to before we lose power. Here we go. Time to put the Phantom to the test, what it really was designed for. 5,000. 10,000. Come on, J79, you can do it. 15,000. Keep the 30 knots, 300 knots. And there we go. Control. Zoom climbs up to 26,000, and that was not by any means optimal, and I know it. It's really sometimes hard to see, especially this with the Phantom, because there's so much stuff in front of you. I mean, it's not terrible, it's not the worst in the world, but it's just so much stuff in front of you, it's really hard sometimes to get an idea of how far, what kind of bank angle you are, because you don't feel the pressure on your seat, obviously. You still feel like you're in level flight because your butt's on the ground, but yeah, we almost, I think, went near vertical in that. But here we are, 26,000 feet from, I think we were only at 3,000 feet, and we climbed pretty quickly. What's our indicated is obviously 275, so our true is 400, and we're not even in afterburner, so the J79s really do prove their strength. And we're going to drop down to 80 and nose down slightly to decrease our altitude as we make a slow, lazy orbit.
What's our fuel looking like?
Yeah, we are good, Jester. We are at 5,000 pounds. And that's actually good. Because, again, we're about ready to land. And we want to come in light for our first landing anyways. There's Bolo Air Base right there. In fact, I want to land to the east. No, we'll land to the west. We'll land to the west. We'll land heading west. So, like a slow, lazy orbit this way. And from up on high, the Norwegian section of the map, which is the low detail portion, looks pretty good. There's obviously, once you're down low, it obviously needs a lot of stuff worked on. But if you're intercepting Bear bombers and MiGs over the Norwegian fjords, you're going to be up at this altitude anyways, or rather, you should be up at this altitude, at least for the initial engagement. So far, it's actually not that bad. Obviously, download needs more detail, and it definitely needs more detail in some cities outside of Bolo, but not so bad so far. Not so bad. Decrease our throttles to 80% RPM so we don't get too fast in a dive. And let's see here, speed brake is B. Okay. Alright. So it's currently retracted, which is good, because we don't want to have it out for the entire descent. There we are, maintain 400 knots. Going to do a low pass over Bolo and come into land. And yeah, you can definitely tell in the F-4E Phantom that this is definitely not on rails, and just as importantly, it feels way different than an F-16. I definitely feel like when I'm pulling on it, like I can't really throw it around all that much. In fact, I think we're a bit fast for our approach, so we're going to go ahead and drop throttles down to even 70% RPM, which is kind of low for a F4. But again, we have altitude and airspeed to burn, so we definitely don't want to be too fast, especially because with the Phantom and landing, it's one of those things where you have to be below 200 knots in order to safely extend the gear and flaps in order to land. In fact, on that note, we're going to expand speed brake, really get our speed down. We are going to pretend that we got clearance to land. We can start trim up, make our lives a little bit easier. Now we are relatively light, so we don't have to worry too much about weight, so if we need to, we can immediately slam these throttles up to power, and I feel like we'll be safe to get enough airspeed to get back up in the air. We just need to get those, we just need to get our airspeed below 200 before we can extend those flaps. And there we go. We're below 200. Get the flaps out. Get a little bit more power. Keep up power. We're going to do the poor man's version of raising the seat here. There we go. Gear out.
Alright, gear, flaps, pressure, warning lights, and annex kit.
A bit more power.
500.
We don't want to get too slower. We don't get too slow. We want to be slow, but not too slow when we land. And
300.
okay, here we go. We're a little bit low. We're a little bit low. Reduce power slightly. Reduce power slightly.
100.
Cut power. Cut power. Pull. And land. Hold on. Just want to see something. Pause. Oh, good. The P key is the parachute key. I thought so, but you never know sometimes that they're weird. Sometimes module makers will make some weird key binding choices. Whew. Retract flaps and slats. Air brake. Tap the toe brakes a little bit, just so we can make the exit to our airbase section over there. Nose wheel steering. Activate. Let's see here. I wonder if hitting the P key will cut the chute. Let's pause. Adjust controls. P. Cancel. There we go. And drag chute cut. Alright, let's see here. There's our parking to the left, to the right. I am not following the yellow lines because at least when I end. It's time to wrap up this video. And there we go. We can park over here somewhere. Just tap the brakes. Now, I don't know exactly what the proper procedure is, but we're just going to do it the cheap way. Alright, and that's it. Gonna say my first 2 flights in the F-4E Phantom are pretty fun. It's definitely gonna be an aircraft that you're gonna have to master. You're definitely gonna have to be gentle with the controls in order to get the most out of it. But it's a ton of fun. I enjoyed it so much. Oh, it's so good to get the Phantom in. It's gonna be a lot of fun also to learn dogfighting in this, because it's gonna be a lot different than anything else we've had in DCS for dogfighting is concerned. And Kola map is interesting so far in like the Norwegian area. It's not too bad. It's not too bad in this area up here, but I can definitely see where their Orbex is going to have to do some improvements. But it's not a bad buy, especially out in the fewer this immediate area around Bolo. Plus, the majority of the high detailed area, which I have yet to really explore in a actual flight, is over here in the Finland-Russian area. So I'll have to do some touring flights of that area and see what's up in that area. So with that being said, this is LockOS signing out for my first impressions video for the F-4E and Kola. And I will see you all with more videos on the F-4E and missions and videos set in Kola in the upcoming months. So see you all around.